Berlin, 1963, and the other speech he delivered that day.
I think it was the first speech of a mighty politician to talk of coexistence, peaceful coexistence.
Plus the graveyard for communist-era statues in Hungary. From what was then Zaire in the 1970s, the first recorded outbreak of Ebola, and dressing to shock in the early 2000s. The designer behind Lady Gaga's famous meat frock.
I think she wore about like 60 pounds. Like, you can't kind of have that hang off the shoulders. So I wanted her to be comfortable, but still look like a giant slab of meat.
First, today's news.
Hello, I'm Emily Thomas with the BBC News. Israel has launched a large-scale military operation against Palestinian militants in the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. The Palestinian Health Ministry says 5 Palestinians have been killed and 18 wounded. The Israelis say at least 7 terrorists have been killed, or in their words, neutralised. The Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh said what he called Israel's aggression would never give it security. The Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen said Israel's target was not the Palestinian people, but militant groups operating there.
Due to the terror organization and the funds they received from Iran, the Jenin camp has become a center for a terrorist activity. We will take any efforts to prevent harm to the local civilian population. We are targeting only the one that involved in the terror.
Police in Hong Kong have issued arrest warrants for 8 exiled activists accused of colluding with foreign forces and endangering national security. A bounty of about $130,000 has been put up for each of them. A spokesman for the National Security Unit urged all 8 to return to the territory and surrender. The French Interior Minister says a fireman has died while trying to douse vehicles set on fire during riots last night outside Paris. More than 150 people were arrested on Sunday. The French President Emmanuel Macron is to meet heads of parliament later to discuss the unrest, which was triggered by police shooting dead a teenager last week. Chris Bockman is in Toulouse.
People are angry who are in the city centres because of what's happened, and of course we're still seeing a lot of very angry young people, mainly men between the ages of 13 and 18, who are out to cause trouble and who are looting and who are burning cars. A lot of mayors have been attacked physically, and there's been a call for people to turn out at the town halls across France to give their reaction and show their support for mayors.
Efforts to hold Russia legally accountable for the war in Ukraine takes a step forward today with the opening of a special investigative office in The Hague. It's the first step towards the creation of a tribunal to deal with the crime of aggression. It's intended to work in cooperation with the International Criminal Court. Philippe Sands is a human rights lawyer who came up with the initiative.
It sits alongside 3 other crimes: war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide, but it focuses on the decision to go to war, the decision to wage what Russia is calling the special operation, and it's a leadership crime, and it concerns a crime of manifestly illegally going to war against another country.
You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. Thailand's King Vajiralongkorn will formally open the country's parliament today for a session that will try to create a new government after nearly a decade of military-backed rule. Elections in May resulted in a new opposition party called Move Forward coming from nowhere to be the largest party in the new parliament. It's formed an 8-party coalition to try and elect its leader, Pitar Limjaroenrat, as the next Prime Minister. Drought in Mexico is causing a severe shortage of chili peppers, which has in turn led to sriracha sauce being sold online for up to 25 times its normal price. Here's Warren Bull.
Sriracha is made from the paste of chili peppers, and it's popular in cuisine from Thailand to the US. But there's been more than a year of drought in one of the main production regions, northern Mexico. This, combined with depleted water supplies in the Colorado River, has led to a shortage of the main raw material, red jalapenos. It has forced sauce manufacturers to scale back production and led to some staggering price inflation.
The Pakistani military says 2 of its soldiers have been killed in a militant attack in the southwestern province of Balochistan. It said troops were trying to establish a roadblock ahead of an operation against insurgents when they came under attack. The incident on Sunday night came hours after gunmen attacked security checkpoints, killing 4 soldiers in the same province. The Wimbledon Tennis Championships begin in London today. The tournament will run for a fortnight, with defending men's singles champion Novak Djokovic opening proceedings on centre court. He's seeking a record-equalling 8th men's title at Wimbledon. 5-time champion Venus Williams is appearing in the women's singles for the 24th time at the age of 43. For the first time, female players can wear dark undershorts in an exception to the all-white clothing rule in a bid to alleviate period anxiety. That was the latest world news from the BBC with me, Emily Thomas.
Hello, this is The History Hour with Max Pearson. First-hand stories from the past as brought to us by Witness History on the World Service. This week, JFK's famous Ich bin ein Berliner speech from 1963. From Hungary, the graveyard of communist-era statues. The first outbreak of Ebola.
Many of those we know who are involved in these protests are very young, and he's saying some of those could have just been teenagers who were bored, saw it happening, decided to get involved. But also Marseille has a specific set of tensions. So on one hand you have groups who live in the poorer northern estates who feel that they're isolated, that they've been ignored, that they don't get rights. Perhaps they feel, certainly from ethnic minority communities, that they experience racism from the police, and so some of those have come out because of the shooting of Nile. Other people quite simply have come out to cause trouble. We could see people on the streets who were smashing up bus stations, setting fire to bins, pulling signs out the road for no particular reason other than they wanted to cause trouble. And so what we don't know at the moment is if it's over, because as I say, they could just be having a break and in a few days be coming back. There hasn't been any resolution to the long-term problems people are facing here in Marseille.
Siobhan, thank you so much for that, and there will be a moment of solidarity we mentioned at the top of the hour, and we'll be live in Paris for that with Jane Secker. Now, Israel has launched a wide-scale military operation in the Jenin refugee camp in northwest bank. At least 7 Palestinians have been killed. Israeli drones have struck targets in the area and hundreds of troops have been deployed. Sky's Middle East correspondent Alistair Bunkle has the latest for us from Jerusalem.
Well, this is actually a major operation, a new sort of kind of operation that started just after 1 o'clock this morning with airstrikes from a drone at what the Israeli military have described as a joint operations centre for Palestinian militants in the Jenin refugee camp. About 3 minutes later, Israeli troops went in. We think there's around 2,000 Israeli troops involved in this operation, and they are there, we're told, to target infrastructure, to seize weapons, and to target command and control centres. The IDF, the Israeli military, say that the death toll amongst Palestinians is now 7. No reports of casualties on the Israeli side, and no indication how long this will go on for, but I think we could be looking at a couple of days. And the reason that this is different is because Jenin, which is a Palestinian town in the northern West Bank, has over the last few months been the centre and, in a way, the staging post, if you like, for a number of terror operations, either against Israelis or Israeli forces in the West Bank or into Israel itself. Just last week, for example, there was a video showing an attempted rockets being fired from the West Bank into Israel. They failed, but that gives you some indication of what Israel is now trying to combat. And so Netanyahu had been under pressure by some of his government to launch a wide-scale military operation to sort of bring this terrorism to an end across the West Bank. It looks, though, instead, he's chosen to limit it to Jenin, and so I think that we could be seeing Israeli forces operating in the city for much of this week. They won't put a time limit on it, of course, but I think this will be an operation that lasts some time.
Ali Bunkle in Jerusalem there. Now, 2-time Oscar winner Kevin Spacey is back in court today facing 12 charges, including sexual assault and indecent assault against 4 men. He arrived at Southwark Crown Court in South London earlier this morning for the second day of the trial. The first alleged victim is due to give evidence later today. And Sky's Katie Spencer has the latest for us from outside the court.
Well, yes, the Oscar-winning actor has already arrived, as he has done on previous days when he's been called to appear for court. He's arrived over 2 hours ahead of the case itself beginning here, very keen to be a very visible presence, wanting to set out just how he feels that he has done nothing wrong with this case. We heard on Friday, of course, the opening arguments being set out from the prosecution and from the defence, and the prosecution alleging that Kevin Spacey is someone who does not seem to respect personal boundaries, who it would seem delights in making men feel powerless, and who is also described as a sexual bully who assaults men. And of the 12 charges that he faces, we now know that they all relate to men who are in their 20s and 30s when these alleged assaults took place, stretching from 2001 through to 2013. In 3 out of the 4 cases, they relate to claims that Spacey allegedly aggressively groped men, and in one of the cases it relates to a young actor he was mentoring who went back to Spacey's flat and had a few drinks, and who woke up to find that he was being sexually assaulted by Spacey. Spacey, through his own defence, have maintained his innocence throughout this, and his defence lawyers on Friday were saying that these claims contain many damned lies, as they put it. We are expecting today to be the first day when evidence is set out in full, and the case itself is expected to last at least for the next 4 weeks.
Katie Spencer there. To Wimbledon now, and Nick Kyrgios has been forced to pull out of the tournament with a wrist injury as the Grand Slam kicks off today. But returning to the court for the first time in 2 years, Russian and Belarusian players. And Sky News sports presenter Jackie Beltrow are able to join me live from Wimbledon. Jackie, it's always a great couple of weeks of the year. We'll come to the tennis in a moment, but let's just start on this return of Russian and Belarusian players, able to return, but they have to waive their national identity.
Yes, absolutely. The Russian and Belarusian players have been playing since the outbreak of the war with no flags against their name on the draws. I mean, it's a very individual sport anyway, tennis. You rarely play as a national team, but they are playing even without the recognition of what country they are from. They've had to sign a special agreement allowing them to compete as neutrals. They've had to sign the agreement showing that they have not received any money from the Russian state in terms of sponsorship from any company that is state-owned, or in fact from the state itself. They can't have any logos on their shirts or on their kit bag or anything like that. Not even for training. So, some players sometimes train in football shirts. Well, the Russian and Belarusian players cannot do that. That is a no-no. But they are back, and because they are back, Wimbledon has been restored to business as usual. Last year, because of the ban on the Russian and Belarusian players, all of the ranking points were stripped from Wimbledon by the governing bodies, the ATP and the WTA, and that basically turned Wimbledon into this giant exhibition event with lots of money at stake. But it meant that the players couldn't get any ranking points, and the players that really punished was the Brits. They did particularly well here last year, but they received no points for their efforts, and then that impacts you for the rest of the year because your ranking is lower than it would be, and you can't play in high-ranking tournaments. You're kind of competing at a lower level. So it really, really did undo the Brits last year. So the points are back, the money's improved, and the Russian and Belarusian players are back. I watched Rublev train with Felix Auger-Aliassime, the Canadian player. They're really good friends a couple of days ago, and Aliassime was saying to me there's quite a lot of sympathy in the dressing room for the Russians because it's such an individual sport. They just want to compete. The war is not their fault. It's not their responsibility. A lot of them have come out and said they just want peace, and they haven't actually come out and attacked Putin or the regime at all, but they have often stated that they want peace, including Rublev, who right at the start of the war wrote on a camera lens, "No war, please." But they return, and some of them have got great chances here. Zabalenka, the number 2 seed, has a really good chance here on grass, and I think some of them are extra hungry, having missed out last time round.
On the topic of chances, Jackie, you mentioned the Brits there. Who's the best British hope this year?
Well, today we've got 6 Brits in action, 7 Russians, 1 Belarusian, 6 Brits. The highest ranked Brit is Dan Evans. He plays Quentin Halys of France later. You'd have thought he would have too much experience on the surface for the French guy. Having said that, Dan went out in the first round here last year, and he's not had a particularly good build-up this year on the grass. He said, you always are very enthusiastic about my chances, Jackie, and I always let you down, so I'm playing him down this year. But 5 other Brits in action. I would have thought the best chance overall is Cameron Norrie. He is the British number 1, 13th in the world. He got to the semi-finals here last year. And that kind of made him a bit more famous, a bit more of a household name, but he likes to fly under the radar. He doesn't like really being recognised, but he really is the best chance. Andy Murray tends to create the most drama. He got to the second round last year, and I think he thinks he's better than he was last year, and he would like to push on further and try and get to the second week of a Grand Slam. But of course, he plays with a metal hip, so it's more difficult for him than anybody else in the draw. However, he plays a fellow Brit, Ryan Peniston, tomorrow. So there is definitely one Brit going to be in the second round of Wimbledon. That is for sure. They're geared up here with more security than ever. They're expecting at some point a protest from Let's Stop Oil. They have told the players not to get involved.
Jackie, thanks so much. Very much appreciated, and best of luck to all of those taking part. A great couple of weeks ahead of tennis. Right, a group of Tory MPs are calling on the Prime Minister to implement stricter immigration rules to reduce net migration to the UK. The 25-strong bloc have called themselves the New Conservatives. They include the Tory party Deputy Chair Lee Anderson, the backbencher Miriam Cates, and the Ipswich MP Tom Hunt. They put forward a 12-point plan to reduce net migration from 606,000 down to 226,000 before the next election. Well, joining me now, Sky correspondent Tamara Cohen. There's a lot of these new groups, Tamara. How high on the list of, I guess, annoyances to the Prime Minister will this subgroup be?
I think this is going to be one of the ones that Rishi Sunak will be wary of because of the subject. It's about net migration, not small boats, which he's pledged to tackle, but the number of people coming here perfectly legally, which reached 600,000 last year. Now, you'll remember that back in 2019, the Conservatives promised to get net migration down from about 270,000. So it's going in quite the opposite direction. And a group of MPs led by the Ipswich MP, Tom Hunt, many of them on the right of the party and elected either the last election or the one before, are saying, hang on, this is a broken promise and we need to do something about it. Now, among their proposals are to cut the number of people from abroad coming here as carers, despite the care sector having record vacancies, and also severely restricting the number of foreign students studying at our universities and bringing their dependents with them. There are also proposals to cut the number of people on humanitarian schemes. If the Prime Minister did all this, they say it would start to bring net migration down, which is what they say people voted for when they voted for Brexit. Now, the Home Office say in response that they share the aims, but they need to balance this with the needs of the economy. So while I would say I don't expect the Prime Minister to be taking up many of their proposals in the near future, the fact that he's being accused of broken promises does look like a bit of a threat to his authority.
Tamara, thanks so much. Well, I'm joined now by Conservative MP Tom Hunt, as mentioned, as part of this group, and is the MP for Ipswich. Tom, I'm really interested on this because in an op-ed you wrote in the Express a couple of days ago, you put, under Labour, immigration, both legal and illegal, would cascade out of control to unparalleled levels. It sounds like this new group is saying that your party has the same problem.
Well, I think it's, for a very long period of time, we had net migration into this country was in the sort of the tens of thousands. It was at very sustainable levels. It was under the last Labour government that really changed quite dramatically. And I think it's important that as a Conservative party, we commit to reversing that, getting net migration back down to much more sustainable levels. And actually, when we look at this issue in Iran, this isn't just about GDP numbers, it's about pressure on public services, it's about housing consequences, it is also about the rapid social and cultural change. change that can come when you have net migration the kind of level it is right now. The Prime Minister has committed to decreasing the numbers. We support him in that. And actually, we just think this report, the 12 points in it, can act as a help to the government to get to where we all want to go, which is meeting that 2019 promise to decrease net migration, not increase it.
So you're in support of your Prime Minister and your party and your government, who have allowed these numbers to get way higher than you would have liked them? There's a bit of a confusion there.
Well, I don't think there is a confusion. You know, I think, you know, we've ended EU free movement, so finally, for the first time in a huge amount of time, we have control of legal migration into this country. We've adopted a points-based system. I think it's going to take some time to fine-tune that points-based system so we can get the kind of outcomes we want, which is the skills we need, but also, you know, immigration at sustainable levels. And I think it's important. Now, I think you'd struggle to get any more than 15-20% of the public supporting net migration being at the levels it is at the moment. I think it's unhealthy that there's a disconnect between where most people are on what they want net migration to be and the current reality. We've got to address that. And I think the 12 points in our plan are suggestions. We are not the government. We are a group of members of Parliament who care passionately about this issue and want to repay the trust that was put in us by our voters, who care about this issue massively. These are some suggestions. We're a constructive group. We'll work with government constructively to try and enact some of them. But, you know, the Prime Minister's prioritised illegal migration, which we applaud, and he said he wants to cut net migration. These are some ways in which we can do it.
I get your point. You mentioned there that nobody voted for these numbers in the hundreds of thousands in terms of legal migration. But I guess that's not really the point, is it? I mean, unemployment is very low, and people are, well, we're talking about legal migration here, people are meeting the points-based system. So is the issue really here what people voted for, or just whether or not the government has enacted plans that deliver the jobs for domestic people or not?
Well, this report does partly deal with a points-based system, and one of the suggestions, for example, is the minimum salary threshold of 26,000 is significantly increased. So, you know, part of this report is about addressing directly the points-based system and making some changes to try and get some better outcomes that most of the public can support. We talk about unemployment being low, but there is still a very large number of economically inactive individuals. The point about the social care sector is clearly something that, if it was to be brought in, would be brought in gradually. But, you know, it's important we bear in mind we've got 30,000 young people currently studying for a BTEC in health and social care. That's important we take that into account. Ultimately, you know, we can't be addicted to this, you know, to cheap labour from abroad. You know, and we've got to move away from that. We've got to look at our education system. We've got to ask ourselves a question: why don't we have the skills we need? And we've got to look at whether we've had enough apprenticeships, whether universities have been focused on the right kind of courses. These issues are all part of the debate. I think this report is it's been worked on by not just myself, but a number of colleagues, and I think it's a healthy contribution to the debate. And actually, I think it's healthy now we've got control of our legal migration system. There is a bit of a debate about it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's undermining the Prime Minister. We support the Prime Minister, who shares many of our aims and objectives, and we look forward to working with him to try and get net migration to a much more sustainable level. Some of that will happen naturally because of the Ukrainian and Hong Kong refugee issue, but even taking that into account, we believe it's too high, and we believe there's some changes that build on what the government have already done around taught-year master students being able to bring independence. That make a significant contribution. We can go further and we can get closer to where most of the British people are and what they want when it comes to net migration.
Just quickly wanted to touch, Mr. Hunt, as well on the illegal immigration issue, and something you've been writing about a lot as well as it relates to the government's Rwanda plan. Your column last week seemed to lament the delay in implementation and blame, I think as you called it, the unelected elite, referring to both the House of Lords but also more specifically the Appeals Court. I wonder whether the delay is their fault or rather the fact that the government, obviously in a previous incarnation under Boris Johnson and Priti Patel, announced a policy well before it was ready with a potentially different motivation to protect their own positions. I mean, who's really to blame for the lack of implementation of this policy?
I guess in terms of that point about unelected individuals, I just think it is ever so slightly frustrating when we see individuals who more likely than not have never had to live with the consequences of uncontrolled mass migration and illegal migration specifically, adopt the kind of positions they've adopted recently on things like the Rwanda scheme, whilst having no plan of their own for how they tackle illegal migration. I might add.
But sorry, Mr. Hunt, my apologies for interrupting. The role of the appeals court is to interpret the law. They are unelected for a very good reason. They're meant to be politically independent. I mean, whether or not they are personally experiencing the greatest downside, if that is the case, of migration or immigration is surely totally irrelevant.
Well, firstly, the appeal court judgment was split, but I must say that my column that you're referring to was primarily referring to the House of Lords. If
specifically mentioned twice the appeals court judges.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it referred to individuals who never have to live with the consequences of uncontrolled mass migration. Principally with regards to my column, I was focused on the House of Lords. But did I find the appeal court judgment frustrating? Yes, I do. Do I find the fact it's taken 14 months for the High Court and the Appeal Court to come to a conclusion on the Rwanda scheme, only for a greater wait now for the Supreme Court to look at it? Yes, I do. This is a huge issue that millions of people in the country are desperately concerned about, and the fact that we've had to wait over a year for the courts to come to an outcome, yes, I do find very frustrating.
Was the policy announced too soon? Was it ready when it was announced?
Look, I don't think it was announced too soon. This is a huge issue. We've got tens of thousands of people, mainly single men, coming into our country illegally from France. We've got to do something to tackle it. I don't think it was announced too soon. I just hope the Supreme Court can be slightly more dynamic when it comes to coming to a conclusion than the High Court and the Appeal Court. But look, we've still got an opportunity to win in the Supreme Court. The Appeal Court judgment was split. Lord Chief Justice actually was in favour of it from a legal perspective, and actually it's important we realise that the Appeal Court didn't vote against Rwanda per se. It was a specific issue, a specific technicality about how the asylum claims in Rwanda are processed. So I think there's every reason to believe we can be successful in the Supreme Court. But no, it was spring 2022 that this policy was first announced. So yes, I am frustrated that 14 months we're still waiting for the legal establishment to come to their conclusion. I think most people in the country would be frustrated by that delay, and I don't think it's unreasonable for them to be frustrated by that.
Tom Hunt MP, thank you so much for joining me this morning. You're watching Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. Coming up, an unexpected turn of events at the Ashes, why the MCC has had to apologise following that tense exchange in the long run. We'll be right back.
I'm Dan Whitehead and I'm Sky News' West of England correspondent. From fishing communities to bustling cities, we spend every day reporting from across the region.
The pound has rallied, moderation, interest rates peaking up at 6%.
The highest for 14 years.
Will that be the peak? Will it be a little bit lower?
Prices.
It's closer to a potential crash.
So many words, so many meanings. But what do they mean for you and your finances? Stay up to date on Sky News.
I'm Stuart Ramsey and I'm Sky's chief correspondent.
Well, there's a real sense now that people are beginning to expect that this whole airlift is coming to an end, and they're really, really desperate. We saw snatch squads going in, grabbing people and putting them into trucks.
You either live and recover, or you die.
Okay, so that's like a war.
That's the war, yes.
We help you understand the world with us. Over the past 24 hours, the soldiers have been attacked on a number of occasions.
It's really sending a clear message that Venezuela is eager for change. We've been crushed.
To take you to the heart of stories that shape our world. They were convinced the United States would become hooked. Well, they were right.
An enormous explosion that's just come down. I think it was a monster just landed in between us.
The information on this could bring down the entire network, not just in Iraq and Syria, but across the world.
said I could throw a bit of a fig with drawn. It's so hot.
Welcome back. The MCC has suspended 3 members who are accused of completely unacceptable behaviour towards the Australian cricket team after yesterday's Test match. Australia won by 43 runs, but the crowd was infuriated by the controversial dismissal of Johnny Bairstow, who wandered away from his stumps when he thought the ball was dead. Sam Naz has this report.
A tense day at Lord's, boiling over off the pitch. The MCC has suspended 3 members after this altercation with Australian players in Lord's famous long room. This all came from the controversial dismissal of Johnny Bairstow, who was stumped by Australian wicketkeeper Alex Carey when he walked out of his crease thinking the ball was dead. In a statement, the MCC said, "We maintain that the behaviour of a small number of members was completely unacceptable, which goes against the values of the club. MCC condemns the behaviour witnessed, and once again we reiterate our apology to Cricket Australia."
So you're ever going to be remembered for that?
Captain Ben Stokes was left questioning Australia's spirit of the game.
At the end of the day, it's out. And I think if the shoe was on the other foot, I would probably just have to have a little think around the sort of whole spirit of the game and things like that. So, look, it's happened, it's out, but we're just going to move on and see what's in front of us.
Despite Ben Stokes hitting 155 runs, including an Ashes record 9 sixes in one innings, the total set by Australia was a step too far, and the touring side would win by 43 runs. England fans praised Ben Stokes' performance, but were left disappointed by the result.
To see somebody also from England playing that strongly as Ben Stokes did, and every bit of praise to him.
Ben Stokes was amazing, and he really rallied and he pulled it all together. The issue is he's got to bring his team with him.
Australia take a 2-0 lead into the 3rd test at Headingley starting on Thursday, where they can reclaim the Ashes if they win again. Sam Naz, Sky News.
We'll be speaking to the former England cricketer Nick Compton in the next hour. You're watching Sky News today with Wilfred Frost. Coming up, we'll be speaking to the American polling legend and communications expert Frank Luntz about how the divisions seen in US politics could be emerging here in the UK. We'll be right back.
Welcome to my crib. Let me show you what I've done with the place. We got the fridge stacked. Oven ready leftovers.
Show off your savvy. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
This is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
It's your mouth. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
That's what makes you great. You hold the world
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I want to welcome you all to the greatest program in the whole wide world, on the greatest network in the whole wide world, with the greatest man in the whole wide world. I'm Archie, and I welcome you all to Starr Radio UK and the morning show. And let's say good morning to my team this morning because of the time that I've spent so far trying to make sure those of you on Twitter, there is a bit of flickering there, and therefore your transmission is somehow not coming out smoothly. We're trying to work on it, but with those of you on all the other platforms, it's working good. So I hope that you are doing good. Let me say good morning to Mr. Olayomi Koiki, my colleague, and HRH Linda Pallien, all the way in Cyprus, who are all ready to fire on all cylinders this morning. Good morning to you. To my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, good morning. And let me also say good morning to my Bishop Adeshina. Good morning to you. Hey, Sir Moses, Charlie, how be, buddy? To Moyua, to Anthony Adedeji. Pastor Mo, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very well, sir. And Eben, yes, my younger brother, yes, my baby brother, let me call him that, all the way in South Africa, Cape Town. Massive good morning to you, and to Chantel as well. I hope you're all doing good. Well, let me say it this way, Happy New Month, as we say. I don't know when we say Happy New Month, what the response is supposed to be, but thank God Nigeria has not happened to you, wherever you might be. Okie dokie do. We are pressed with time, and therefore we have to just zoom through it like no man's business. So all protocol observed. Felix all the way in Aberdeen, good morning to you. Kojo D, Captain Tete, and all you folks here in the UK and other parts of the world. I salute you all. I'll say once again, welcome. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. If I've not mentioned your name, remember one thing for sure, I love you to bits. And what about that? Okay, let's crack on. So, the word for the day today, the quote for the day said, the choice you make today will determine the consequence you will reap tomorrow. So, make a good one. Holy. I'm moving on straight. The weather forecast for you, just a quick one. I'm just going to give you a summary of it because we are pressed with time this morning. Well, those of you in London and the southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you today. If you're having to be moving around, there's going to be a mixture of cloudiness and sunshine there as well. But UV level is going to be moderate, pollen level is going to be high, pollution is going to be low. Sunset 21, 20, sunrise for tomorrow morning 04 for the 9 hours. Top temperature 19 degrees, the lowest 12 though. Okay, moving on straight to the travel updates as well. Just a quick one from there. Those of you who are traveling on the underground this morning, yes, Bakerloo Line District and Elizabeth Lines have all got some issues. They're severe to minor delay, so check before you leave. That aside, all the others, good service there. DLR London Travelling Land Overground, good service there as well. On the major roads in London, A13 North London North Circular A406 have all got serious delays. And on the river bus this morning as well, apart from the Woolwich ferry that's got reduced service, all the others are applying good service there. The London Cable Car has also got good service. The final segment of the travel update, that is the National Rail. East Midlands Railway has got minor delays. First Transpennine Express minor special service, and Northern Rail special service or minor delays there as well. So let me say that's how we do all the time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your comment for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads. Stay tuned, let me just take a quick short break and I will be back with you and you will be saying what is going to happen next. We're going to bring you updates from across the globe. That is Global Trotting, and Mr. Olayomi Koiki is joining us in the next 10 minutes. So wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I hope you're all doing good, and those of you on the various platforms are all enjoying. Share, as I would say. Morning to my own calling Big Reverend Michael Esiama. He'll be coming your way on Wednesday. My apologies. Wednesday dawn with the Power Hour program. So yes. But until then, let's move on. Now, what are some of the stories making the round this morning? Yes. Bandits kill woman. Baby found alive on her back 24 hours later. Evil. But as we say, may Nigeria not happen to you. Special message from Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho to thank all Yorubas home and abroad for the support given to him in the last 2 years. And he also insists that the Yoruba nation struggle continues. Now, what do you think? And Nigeria debt is rising. Economy, I'll be telling you more about that as well. Housewives lament as tomatoes prices soar. Now, support army in combating security challenges. Taraba governor urges Nigerians. Well, what would they do, or what can they do? And some other stories as well. Gunmen invaded a redeemed Christian Church of God, in Ogun State, and killed a pastor and abducted some worshippers. That's quite a serious one. The other time I was asking the question, what can churches, mosques, or religious places of worship, what can we do to forestall such occurrences? How do we stop them? Are we going to get the military or get the police or something? Or are we going to get our own private folks standing there, maybe giving them arms this time around, so that if there is anything of the sort, now we find out and we deal with them? Is that what should be the way? What do you think? I would like to have your opinion on that. But more going to be coming your way from there. If you have any questions or any contribution or any story that is making the rounds you want to share with us, feel free to do so. But remember, more coming your way from Mr. Olayomi Koiki in the next few minutes on the updates from Nigeria. But now, let's move on straight to some other stories making the round. In Senegal, Sonko has called for demonstration ahead of a key presidential address. Opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, who was sentenced to 2 years in prison a month ago, has called on the Senegalese people to go out in droves. Now, what is going to happen there? Yes, a Mali junta partially reshuffles government after draft constitution vote. Mali's junta carried out a partial reshuffle of the government on Saturday, a day after announcing the end of the UN peace mission in the country. Are they trying to position themselves so that they'll be able to deal with insurgents and all that are against the state? Is that what they're trying to do? Okay, and road accident in Kenya kills at least 51 people there. It's one of the stories. And Burundians admits troops celebrate Independence Day in Somalia. All right then, it's all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to Ghana as well, MPP tried to bribe Jachi Kwesi not to contest Asen North by-election. Sami Jemfi is alleged. Now, what evidence has he got about that? Now, if it is something that is true, whoa, that will be a big one there, But MPP flag bearership rates Alan Bawumia and Kwajo Opoku to face vetting committee today. It's one of the stories making the rounds. And intervene in prosecution of Jachi Kwesi Domahine to Akufo-Addo. So he said that, look, just abandon that quest to get him out. But would the president hearken to it? Wouldn't they think that if by so doing he's weakened himself? Lots more going to be coming your way from there, so stay tuned. Don't you go away as well. And discontinue Jachi Kwesi trial. The academic chiefs and priests are speaking. Would the government hearken to that? We will be bringing you more about that as well. This is the person that the people say we want him to represent us. So who are you to say that? Look, we don't want him to represent you. That will be a big one there. Okay. Let's wait. We'll be bringing you more on that front. It's all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, in other parts of the world as well. Gun battle in West Bank as Israel launches massive operation. At least 5 Palestinians have been killed in the ongoing raid, Palestinian officials have said. And in some other stories making the rounds there as well. Now, France riot is as mayors call anti-violence rally. Now, French mayors denounce extreme violence of the protests which swept the country for almost a week. And I can tell you the devastation that has gone. I've been asking the question, how much more and how more or what more do they think they want to do? And because I'm looking at the case where targeting individuals who got nothing to do with the police system per se, let me put it that way, is not the right way to go, is it? But well, people are doing so, and people say they are avenging their anger. Maybe there's some undertone, but others are thinking that there are some gangs in the country who have taken this opportunity and think that, well, we have to unleash our venom, and that seems to be what is going on there as well. But let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. In other stories making the rounds, overtime ban sparks reduction in train services. Now, 15 train companies based in England will be hit from Monday to Saturday. And then Spacey could make me very uncomfortable. Complaint says that Kevin Spacey accused her to give evidence in sexual assault trial here as well. Energy Board says price might rise this winter. Yes, raking in the profits. The government may need to give energy bill help this winter, says the head of International Energy Agency. And then Tory MPs issues plan for Sunak to slash migration. The New Conservatives group says the Prime Minister risks eroding public trust unless the numbers are cut by 400,000. Talking about legal migration, even they think that no, they need to stop some people from coming into the country. All right then. So this and a lot more going to be coming your way in the next few moments. So wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't touch the dial at all. It is Starr Radio UK. We're going to be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in, but that will be after enjoying this piece of music that I've lined up for you. And this one is from Samuel Okposo, the late Samuel Okposo, and it says gratitude. We are in a new month, and how good God works. So stay tuned. Don't you go away. Enjoy this tune, and I will be with you.
God. Now look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, I have some gratitude in my spirit. I have some gratitude in my spirit. Ask your neighbor, do you have some of it? Because I'm about to unleash my gratitude. Now, you know what? Once you feel it, don't allow your neighbor to stop you. Once you feel it, going. Come on. Come on, everybody. Clap your hands like this. Come on. One more. Everybody say, I thank you. I thank you. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I thank you. And I thank you. Oh Lord. In looking at my life, I see that you have done for me. Oh, I thank you. Oh Lord. Come on. Everybody.
Oh yeah. Now we have some gratitude, don't we? We thank God for ushering us into a new week and a new month, of course. Today is the 3rd day of July, the year 2023, second half of the year. And as we pray, may Nigeria not happen to you, as we say on this platform. So I hope that you had a very nice weekend. But you want to know more about what is happening in Nigeria with updates from Nigeria? Don't you worry, I'll bring you some music later on. But now it's my singular honor to introduce to you the White Lion, my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who is live here right now in our North London studios. And let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world. And welcome once again to the first week of the month from the Starr Radio UK network. I say good morning to you back as well, Mr. Archie. And likewise, good morning to all those that have connected on the sister broadcast.
Yes, those of you on the other platforms watching us on the sister broadcast, we want to salute each and every one of you. We love you to bits. As I say all the time, without you, there'll be no point sitting here saying whatever thing that we are saying or discussing whatever. So it's very important. We love you to bits. All right then. Well, it was a lovely month, introductory to the month. But hey, things have been happening. I'm going to be telling you more about all that in a moment. But Yomi, how was your weekend?
It was what we can call a marathon. Remember that we left on Friday with just less than a few hours to the attack on the house of Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. So we had what we called, a special broadcast to celebrate and to also reflect back. So that literally means that just after the Friday broadcast on the Starr Radio Network, we then went on what we called a 13 hours non-stop broadcast that took us into the early hours of when the attack took place at about almost 10 minutes to 2 a.m. on the 1st of July. The next day was a lot of activities, with the Professor Banji Akintoye, with also Chief Sunday Igboho. We're going to be talking about all that in the course of the program as well. So it was a very hectic and busy weekend up to yesterday, even as we continue to say, may Nigeria not happen to us? Because while all that was still happening on Friday, many more Nigerians in the southwest were killed by the Fulani terrorists right inside a church. And likewise yesterday, there was another attempt to kidnap some individuals around Bega going towards outskirts of Lagos State, but they were able to survive it. So the weekend was much more of talking, conversation, and bringing the conscious awareness. But likewise, a bit of family time as well over the weekend.
Well, we thank God for that. And those of you listening to us, we hope that you had a very good weekend as well. Maybe busy, active. Yeah. We like all that. Yes. But we pray that Nigeria doesn't happen to you there. Okay. Yes. So now let's come to like you said, last Friday we were looking at another, call it 24 hours to the attack, or less than that, the attack, the second anniversary of the attack on Chief Sunday Igboho's residence. But we've had information that has come in through where Chief Sunday Igboho has sent a message to all Yorubas and those who are supporting him over that period of time. And you talked about what Professor was also making and the whole broadcast. How have people seen so far 2 years with him in exile, let me put it that way, and what is going on? Are we seeing lots of activity? Is the momentum dying, or is it like because of what Mrs. Abiola is said to have also done, the split in the front as well? What has happened when we talk about the Yoruba nation and everything 2 years on after Chief Sunday Igboho's resident attack? What has happened, Yomi?
Well, I believe when we reflect back from the point of those that were able to speak right from Ibadan and some other states, by some of our correspondents on the ground. As much as life continued, they say, in matter of whatever happened, much people probably still remember, but as so many other people are trying to survive in what is called the Nigeria today. So what literally happened, on that Saturday, literally means that as much of 2 years has gone past, apart from those that are key to the conversation, which is about 2% when you talk about those that are listening online, majority of those also listening are from Nigeria, apart from the diaspora. It seems that the momentum have never gone down, but yes, in every movement there's always infiltration, and likewise an attack like this, you would thought somebody like Professor Banji Akintoye would probably not even be with us, because that would have been one of his biggest shock, knowing fully well that one person that stood out of so many Yorubas, that gave him the support that he needed at the appropriate time. And he talked about it. It was so emotional when he was speaking on Saturday evening during the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination, and in conjunction with the Yoruba World Media presentation, on Saturday at about 2000 hours. You could feel from his voice that he continuously said that he couldn't have been much more happy that the gods of the Yoruba land protected Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho at that early hours when it was attacked. Let's say clearly that when there was noise from the door of Igboho's house in Soka, he came out from this balcony, probably maybe one of his rooms, but right there and there, as many weapons went into that direction. And if we look back to some of the buildings that were destroyed on that fateful day, we see if the engineer can give us one of those buildings. You could tell that the target for the fact that they met Igboho in the house, the riddle of bullet that went in that direction showed that at the early hours of the morning. So he could have died, but unfortunately he did not. He survived it. But the question then is, like you said, 2 years down the line, have the movement been compromised? Have the movement completely dead? Or what has actually happened? Igboho then spoke, even though, his speaking was delayed, up to when, so many events have been done around the hours of the time that, the conversation of what happened and a lot of activities. But by the time he spoke to the diaspora and those at home and those that are still not in line, because you remember that the movement was divided, like you said, by Dupe Onitiri when we thought she was part of us. Now we realize that she was just one as so many other agents that is used around the world to infiltrate the movement. But Igboho spoke clearly. And that message was that we must not remember, we must not forget that in as much as it might seem that he's left the movement, he categorically stated it again, that he is still fully involved in this movement till the end. And that literally means that until we get Yoruba Nation. The question that you might ask is that, is he going to remain in Benin Republic? What is going to be the new arrangement between the new president, Bola Tinubu, and Igboho, and also Nnamdi Kanu? The question Igboho said himself is, whatever it takes, how long it takes, the Yoruba Nation struggle must continue.
Okay, that's a good one there. I mean, let me put it this way: assurance, a bit of reassurance there. That look, it's a quest that we are looking for. We've not got what we are looking for yet, but we are not throwing in the towel. So we're still fighting. Okay then, Starr Radio UK. But what has the Yorubas in Nigeria? What has been their response? Are they looking at it that you've left us, and looking at the attacks that have taken place, one that happened in Ogun State that you were talking about? It was so because of those things that Chief Sunday Igboho was making all that noise, because they think that you cannot just go into people's farms, go and destroy the farms, and then when they say it, you kill them and all those things. And it's no. And what has been the response of government as well, Yomi?
Well, the last 72 hours in Nigeria has been again, security problems. And, when we go back and look at the, the incident that occurred from Friday stroke Saturday, from Saturday stroke Sunday, and likewise in other parts as well, it seems that, Nigeria security is still a little bit much in a problem. Let's go straight to the one that happened in Niger State. Miraculously, a baby was found 24 hours after the mother was killed by Fulani terrorists. How that happened is a miracle. We can say a 7-month-old baby named Abibu has been found sleeping on his mother's back 24 hours after she was shot dead by the Fulani terrorists on the Pandogari Alawa Road in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The terrorists reportedly blocked the road as usual, and then shot 6 passengers, including an SS2 student of Miriam Babangida Girls Science College, Mina, Alua Aliu, and the mother of the baby to death straight away. Miraculously, the baby survived. That is not the only incident that happened. Let's come back again now. There's also as many uncertainty happen in some of the other states. Let's talk about the communion clash that is going on as well in Taraba State. Curfew is currently going on in Taraba State, but the pressure group, Wukun Youth Ambassador Worldwide, has condemned the fresh violence between the Wukun and Karijo people of Karima. Remember, we keep saying that Nigeria has about 250 ethnic groups. That literally means that there will continue to be, some of these issues happening. But in a statement that was put together by the governor, is now appealing to more security personnel to restore normalcy as well. Let's now bring it back to Ogun State. A pastor was shot there. We can show the images, which I have already in my possession. This is one of the churches that is also tied to the Redeemed Christian Church of God. The pastor was shot there. 2 other members are currently receiving treatment in the hospital, but 7 have now been taken away. Let's take you back to Baga. Baga yesterday as well, Fulani invaded the way through, but it seems that they were stopped by some security operatives and some other individuals, and they actually run back into the bush. So this has been the issue and part of why Igboho came out in the first place after the death of Aborode in Igogon, when a PhD holder that returned back to Nigeria after so many years in Germany to set up a mechanized farming with about close to 300 staff working there. It was tied, it was killed, and that led to Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho visiting Seriki Gogon and told him that enough is enough, you must now move out of this place. But it seems now that the Nigerians are now asking their governors, they are pleading that the security in each state is still becoming alarming. How Tinubu is going to resolve all these is something that we don't know yet in terms of the debt ratio that continues as well. But Shehu Sani, one of the former senator, in Nigeria, spoke about the bandits, which he believed that there are clusters of them. So it's going to be very difficult for the current president, to literally pinpoint, who is behind, because they don't have any, leaders. That literally means that they are operating on their own. And as we continue to say, more security intelligence will be needed to resolve the crisis that is currently going on as we speak right now. I'm going to come back again to you in the studio as we continue to review and talk about the security situation in the country that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, must now literally work very hard to put a full stop to it, or at least. But what Shehu Sani revealed, why Tinubu government can't dialogue with the bandit. The dialogue with the bandit will not work because of these 3 reasons. They are not armed movement founded for the pursuit of religious or ethnic or political causes, other than extortion and atrocity, blackmail and adoption, and cold-blooded murder. Remember that these are not even ISIS and these are not Boko Haram.
Well, listeners, it's a fight, and I don't know what, but I'll be coming to one question that I want to find what the religious leaders are doing about it, because you don't want to be going to church on Sunday and find out that you are abducted, or you don't want to go to the mosque on Friday and find out that you are going to be attacked. So people will decide, let's abandon that, because if they're not going to be getting the security, and what security can they get to give the members or congregants the reassurance that, look, when we come there, our lives will be secured? We're going to be talking about that. But let me read some of the comments that have come through. Now, Moses says, I'm expecting better move from Tinubu on security, because I believe everyone or indigenous individuals living in Nigeria now should begin to have an access to weapon so as to fit in. And that's one of the things I was talking about there. And he goes on to say, I'll be coming to see Tinubu in Abuja for a special meeting on how to bring the country Nigeria forward. I know he lives in USA. He lived in the USA, so he should do something spectacular there. He goes on to say, I would like Tinubu to make declaration for all Nigerians to declare Nigeria a gun state country before the end of August coming, or before the year running on. My Bishop Adesina says Chief Sunday Igboho stood up to defend his people, and it's now that is justified as well. So those are some of the comments that have come through, but it's not coming away from Starr Radio UK. So now, Yomi, you are a Muslim. Now during the festive, the Eid that happened last week, if you were in Nigeria, you will be forced to go there. But if you were going there and you are looking at the whole situation and thinking that there's a tendency that there could be an attack, which we knew that the security agencies were talking about that. Okay, I'm a Christian. I would have loved to be going to church. Yesterday I was in church. I'm here. I could come to church. I could do whatever. But if I know that whatever I'm going to do, I'm taking my family there, virtually put them in danger. What do you want to do? And what will the churches or the leaders do?
Well, when we go back and continue to review, what has been said, which I'm just trying to pull out, we've lost about 5,000 Nigerians within the last 30 months. That is a report. And there's a total of 430 incidents. Boko Haram terrorists have killed no fewer than 5,873 Nigerians between December 2020 and May 2023, according to a new report. According to the SBM intelligence report that was released on Friday, the number of the fatalities was recorded in 430 incidents. The question you've asked is, whether it is safe. There was a big event that took place in Ogun State, Ijebu, precisely called the Ojude-Oba. I don't know whether the numbers of people participating is still in high numbers as what it used to be some 2 decades ago, because we know that after the festival that comes up with the Muslim, something like Ojude-Oba is the next event, and this drives in as many Nigerians from outside the countries and different foreigners. But whether they are still attending, but I saw that the event went ahead. The question has always been again that should we tell the churches to stop having night vigils since the government cannot give adequate security? Let's talk about Ogun State. The budget for Ogun State is about 430 billion naira, for 2023. Part of that is to support the security in the state, to make sure that they are well equipped, police officer, and also the military and the other security agencies from the Amotekun and the other, vigilantes. But if this is not happening, maybe it is time now for the churches to reconsider whether it is appropriate. We understand they lock themselves into these, little rooms or little houses that they are operating from. But when the terrorists appear, they have to open up. Because last year, also in Ogun State, a white garment church, a 15-year-old was raped, almost another 70-year-old. About 4 different women were raped in that particular church. There was another killing there. But it seems that, as we always say, Nigerians are so much in belief that the Jesus Christ will save them, while in this part of the world, we believe that intelligence, manpower, training is what saved us before Jesus Christ.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But to end that discussion, so far, what has the federal government said? Any of the authorities, what have they said so far?
Well, Tinubu have just returned back to Abuja, and I'm sure is getting daily report, as the chief commander officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So even though he traveled from Paris to London, from London back to Lagos State, a lot of activities. I saw he was welcomed by Lagosians and so many other dignitaries. An event was put together. He flew quickly to Ogun State, where he met one of the royal fathers as well. The question is now that he has returned back after the holiday, he's back in Abuja yesterday. I saw that. What is he going to be telling the security agency? Remember that, he has appointed the new ones, and that means that the expectation from Nigerians is that the security chiefs must put in as much in place. The next headline says, insecurity. The North awaits Tinubu new service chief magic wand. So you can tell that they are waiting. Communities in 3 zones of the North, which have been under incessant attacks by the Fulani terrorists, are now looking up to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the new service chiefs for lasting peace in the area. Terrorists have sustained attacks on communities in the North, thus worsen the plight of residents who have been displaced from their ancestral home. From Sokoto State to Benue, it is the same story of agony as scores were killed and hundreds have been displaced by the Fulani terrorists. On June 26, terrorists attacked Dorawan village in Dusuma local government area of Katsina State, where the fierce account with the police, who subsequently repelled them. The incident, which occurred at about 11 a.m., left one of the terrorists dead, while police officers recovered GPMG with 58 rounds of 7.62 mm x51 mm live ammunition. You can tell that these are not joking. They are moving with sophisticated weapon that can pieces someone as quickly as possible.
All right then, listeners, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 11:24 the time, the morning show, the program. With the president being in office more than a month now, it's his honeymoon time. I mean, running out. You think that it's okay and everything that he's doing is all right? Some are of the view that he could do something better with everything and the various appointment that is made. But what do you think about all that? We're going to bring more to you. It is Star Radio UK. Let's go back to Yomi for some of the other stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. At 25 minutes past on still Star Radio UK, it seems that the federal government needs as much money, to save and to also make the economy of Nigeria to drive back, even though the economy is being battered as we speak right now. The Nigerian economy is getting bad. We talked about the naira. This is 1,000 naira with me, and that literally means that if you have a £10, is a specimen, not a new one, not the one that we still have here hasn't got the King Charles yet. We hope we should have that up and running very soon. So you now have 10,000 naira right there in front of you. But let's talk about the new target by the federal government. The federal government is now targeting 12 billion naira from new vehicle tax. According to the report, the federal government is set to make about 12 billion naira a year from the 1,000 naira, which is 1,000 naira proof of ownership. You might be asking, what proof of ownership? If you have a vehicle in Nigeria, you now also have to have a proof of ownership certificate verification fee, and that means that the government will be getting around 12 billion a year. Last week, the permanent secretary of Lagos Ministry of Transportation, Abdul Aziz Siriola, disclosed this. He stated that this certificate would help vehicle owners and the government assure the integrity of all the vehicles registered under the National Vehicle Identification Scheme database and to track car theft and recover of stolen. Right here as well in UK, we have the MOT that we pay, we have road tax that we pay as well. But Nigerians are already paying a lot of such. But it seems that 1,000 naira will be added to 11.76 million vehicles in Nigeria as at Q2 2018, and the vehicle population ratio was put at about 0.06 for period per various reports. Nigeria import about 400,000 vehicles annually. So you will multiply that, you can tell that the government is not joking, trying to find as much money to save the economy of the country as well. Let's go straight. It seems that the burning of the Quran is not being pleased again in Nigeria, as Nigeria and 56 countries under the aegis of Organization of Islamic Cooperation on Sunday have condemned the recent incident of an Iraqi refugee living in Sweden who burned several pages of the Quran. Nigeria is among the 57 member states of the OIC. The OIC represents the Muslim world collective voice and defend its interests. The OIC is the second largest organization after the United Nations. So you can tell that this organization is as big, and likewise Nigeria is also represented as well. With a membership of 57 states spread over 4 continents, according to the report. Salawa Munika, 37 years old, an Iraqi native, set fire to the holy book outside a mosque that was permitted on the first day of Eid al-Adha, and that has brought a lot. In London yesterday, I monitored some of the Muslims that went in front of the Sweden embassy to protest as well. So likewise, a lot of messages from Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, where the OIC Secretary General Hissène Brahim Taha said a clear message must be sent across the international community regarding the international law which prohibits religious hatred. We can see that the Sultan is really talking about this, but the same Muslim, especially in a state that has 16 local government known as Kwara State, has marginalized the traditionalists from not allowing them to perform their own tradition. because according to those that visited this woman that have now suspended the event that was meant to take place, and the fact because some Muslim scholars paid her a courtesy visit and told her point blank, this is Kwara State, this is an Islamic state, you can take your Isheshe, you can take it to any other Yoruba land, but we will not tolerate you to have this done here. And that literally means that the Osho priest have decided that for her own safety, she has now cancelled a festival that is meant to occur in a Yoruba territory in Nigeria. And the question is this not also hatred of tradition? And when we say all the time that Nigeria is not one country, especially those that are now trying to prove difficult when it comes to religious bigots. Osho priests cancel Isheshe festival in Ilorin over death threat. Ilorin, Nigeria. Osho priest Yeye Ajishe Kemi Olokun Omolara, threatened by Muslim group Maja Sulu Shaba Il Umaru Society in Ilorin, the capital state of Kwara, to desist from holding a planned Isheshe festival in the state, has raised alarm after receiving death threat, which prompted her to cancel the traditional event. I'll come back again first to you in the studio, and you can see the imbalance where the Sultan is talking about the burning of the Quran in Sweden, while under his nose in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he has not condemned those other Muslims in Ilorin that is not an Islamic state. Have now talked about the one in Sweden. The question then is, who is going to support this woman at this particular time?
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one when it comes to issues of religiosity. When we talk about that, as some people say, religion is the opium of the masses, and therefore, when you go touch it, it's quite troubling there. But Nigeria is a country, right? Okay, so everybody has a right to worship or association. So if somebody wants to be a Christian, they can be a Christian. If they want to be a Muslim, they can. If they want to be a traditionalist, they can be a traditionalist, and they can serve or do whatever. But not to put it in. It would be wrong for me to go and stand in front of the mosque and maybe slaughter a pig or something, which it shouldn't be done. Okay, when somebody does that, I would say that they're actually stirring trouble for themselves. But when somebody, maybe I've come to the state where I'm a Nigerian, I'm supposed to be there, I don't need a visa to come to the place, I'm allowed to go around my activities, whatever, so far as I've not wronged anybody personally. Why should there be that kind of hatred there? And that's why some people think that, well, if there is that intolerance when it comes to religion, then let those of us who are liberals be at one side, and those who want to be extremists, or let me put it this way, Islamic State, let them also be at another side. But what do you think about all that? Do you think Nigeria should break up? I know some people are calling for that, but with everything that is going on, do you think it's the right thing to do? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:32 the time, the morning show, the program. So this priestess, what has the state said to her about that? I mean, the federal government. Has anyone said anything about that?
Well, up to as we speak right now, there hasn't been any report or any update from the governor, of Kwara State, neither of any of the Islamic bodies as well. But when we saw the video, and that has now made this particular woman to cancel the event, you could see that she was literally confronted. And when I watched the video, imagine here in UK where you have about 20 FT men dressed Islamically to visit a woman. Definitely that is not a kind of society that I want to live in, and that literally means that the woman, apart from us saying that she's receiving that threat, the video alone is an intimidation. And she was told clearly that this is Kwara State. You can take it to Abeokuta in Ogun State where they practice this, but we do not allow such in Kwara State. The question then is, when has Kwara State turned to an Islamic state? Because what we know is, in Nigeria, according to the constitution, you have the right to practice whatever religion that you feel like practicing. But it seems that the Nigerians in Kwara State have now told her that point blank she would not be allowed to do such, and she has now cancelled the planned festival.
Okay,
so we hope the governor will intervene.
Okay, let's see what the governor says, and if we all belong, then there should be the response should reflect that as well. But it's all coming away from Star Radio. Okay, 11:34 the time, the morning show, the program. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, Yomi.
Let's go straight to Abuja, where the presidential election petition court have again adjourned the hearing in the petition that was filed by Peter Obi till tomorrow, the 4th day of July 2023, due to INEC inability to open its defense as a result of absence of its 3 witnesses. That takes me again to the next headline. European Union does not have substantial evidence APC rigged the 2023 presidential election according to the presidency. We urge the EU and other foreign interests to be objective in their assessment of internal affairs of our country and allow Nigeria to breathe. Wow, it seems that Bola Tinubu is taking the heat already when it comes from the European Union. Remember that when he was there in UK, at Chatham House, he told us that he would allow freedom of speech and the foreigners, but it seems already that the heat of just one press release is still going to be here for the next 4 years. So I don't know how he's going to cope when there's so much release from the international community. But let's look at why the response from the presidency, and I'll take you straight to the social media. We reject European Union conclusions on the 2023 general election. Sometimes in May, we alerted the nation through a press statement to the plan by a continental multilateral institution to discredit the 2023 general election conducted by Independent National Electoral Commission. The main target was the president election clearly and fairly won by the then candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. While we did not mention the name of the organization in the statement, we made it abundantly clear to Nigerians. So does it not mean literally again that the international community have interfered in an election that has got to do with the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Well, it seems that Bola Ahmed Tinubu have that intelligence ahead of every one of us. But the only one that I am aware of is that the UK government, as at 1959, helped to rig the election, according to Aaron Smith, before he died on a presentation on a BBC Radio 4 while it was titled document. It seems already now that the organization has submitted what it claimed to be its final report on the election. We can now categorically let Nigerians and the entire world know that we were not unaware of the machines of the European Union. It seems that Bola Tinubu is now having a loghead with the European Union outcome when it comes to the concluded general election. So I'm going to move straight to the social media and see what Nigerians are talking about, as there's a lot Nigerians are discussing. Let's talk about Morakinyo at Morakinyo_Larry, who go drink gas with a question mark by 3 times. It is now sold for 600 naira per kg with the emoji of love, but there is no food to cook with the gas. We cannot talk about the next word because it's not a very good word that we use. Also, let's talk about Simon Ekpa, the government in exile and the Prime Minister of the Biafra. Update, responding to the bunch of lunatic second-class Nigerians called Ohanize. Ohanize are shameless people that can't represent themselves. They have no shame. They beg the nomadic Fulanis for peanuts using our traditional institution, and the Biafra law will deal with them in due time if they refuse to repent. Number 2, Ohanize, who could not organize their fellow corrupt politicians for Igbo interest, rather than receive over 200 million naira, share it amongst themselves to sabotage the freedom of Biafra people, can't speak to Indigo. Number 3, Ohanize bragged that if Igbo didn't get the presidential ticket from the PDP or APC, that Nigeria will break, that voting Tinubu will bring war. But today, the helpless and shameless Ohanize are calling Indigo to support Tinubu. People that act like that has lost the morality to speak for the interest of the Indigo. I'm going to move straight to number 6. The historical sit-at-home has kicked off today. Nothing can stop it unless Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released today. The Biafra government in exile, the Biafra government both in exile and in the homeland, are now in charge of the Biafra land and not the Ohanize, nor Nigeria. Signed, Ambassador Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic. God government in exile. So let's talk about what Nigerians are saying when it comes to Nigeria itself. This morning, with so much activities going on in Nigeria in the last 72 hours. And let's start from here. Again, an update. This happened again. Yesterday, the 8 kidnapped employees of the MRS Oil Nigerian PLC, who were adopted in Lagos last week, successfully regained their freedom yesterday. We don't know whether any money was paid. Let's take a look at David Odoye, an investigative journalist, really cannot give less a toss that Nigerian top O-level apparently forged their result. Wow, it seems that Nigerians are already forging result just to get into any kind of university. Emeka Gift official, I believe is somewhere in Europe, with so much pictures of Nnamdi Kanu poster, continue to spread to, he's here in London. He's spreading it across every part in London. This is quite interesting. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the IPOB, a British citizen, was adopted by the Nigerian government, rendition to Nigeria without a due extradition process called as order for his release. So it seems that a one man called Emeka Gift is now putting Nnamdi Kanu poster across London. Let's take 2 more and then I'll come back again to you in the studio. 99% oppressed at Pido, Nigeria. All those fools enjoying good life in diaspora who campaigned or voted for Tinubu. How many of you can relocate to Nigeria under this present economy to seek for better job opportunities unrelated to politics, or relocate your businesses and company to Nigeria? Waka. Arabirin Shola, the Yoruba are the most endangered in the colonial enterprise Nigeria, with the Fulani on one hand and Indigo on the other hand. Only a separate sovereign Yoruba nation will solve this nonsense for good. That is how far we can go, and I'll come now back again. But Arise News, bias, flawed Nigerian reject EU 2023 election, as we have already talked about yesterday. So it seems already Bola Tinubu is having a loggerhead with the European Union on the outcome of the general election.
Well, listeners, interesting times in Nigeria. Will the president accept the results so far? Samsudin, good morning to you. He says, God bless Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation, we want. Okay. But Yomi, a quick one on the election tribunal. Do you think that the judges or who are sitting on the case are going to take into consideration the statement that the EU observer mission posted?
But I think that's the reason why the presidency is quickly putting that out, so that they probably not think of using that as part of their evidence. Already, from what that report was saying, that they are already aware that they alerted Nigerians, how they got that intelligence, and they are literally now pointing that whatever the European Union observer that came to Nigeria is saying, should not be believed and should be discredited. If these have been in favor of Bola Tinubu, I'm sure he wouldn't have said so. But now that there's a lot of messages that is not in their favor, they're coming out. The question you ask is whether the judges will take advantage of these or use it as part of their. It depends on whether Peter Obi and Atiku will also be using that as part of their evidence.
Listeners, interesting times. We keep our fingers and everything crossed, just praying that Nigeria doesn't happen to us, so that we'll all be alive to see what is going to happen there. Yomi, before you go,
soon as Archie will take you through the rest of the program. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11:43 a.m. It is the Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Have a very good morning and bye for now.
Bye. Okay, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria from our North London studios this morning. 11:43 the time, the morning show, the program. I'm going to bring you some music and then a commercial, and then we'll continue from there. So wherever you are, don't you go away. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk
Starr Radio UK. Let's take something from Maker Paris, and it says change is gonna come. So those of you fighting and trusting God, some way somehow that something will happen. Yes, keep on keeping on, because change will definitely come wherever you are and whatever quest that you are fighting for. Stay tuned, enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes, it will. Then I go to my brother,
Okay.
and I say, brother, help me.
This is Starr Radio UK.
But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. There've been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Change gon' come. Oh yeah.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Yes, it will.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's now gone exactly 11 minutes to the top of the hour. That is 11 minutes to 12. And we have to go through all the other stories. But remember, exactly at 12:30, I'll be taking you to Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is to bring you Career 101. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't you go away. And I hope that you took advantage of the campaign that was going on, the NHS one, to help you have your COVID vaccine. But it's all ended. It ended on the 30th, and therefore now I don't know if you have to embark on it. Maybe, but yeah, get in touch. We can get in touch with the NHS and tell you more about that. I'll try to comb for the information to do so. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. I am Archie, and it is the Monday edition of the morning show. Now let me bring you a breaking news that I come from home here. I knew that was obvious. You know what? Now Sue Gray, you remember Sue Gray? We're waiting for the Sue Gray report. There were parties during the lockdown. We're waiting for the Sue Gray's report. Let's wait for it. Now Sue Gray has also been found wanting. Now former official Sue Gray broke civil services rules after failing to declare contact with Labour over a job offer. A cabinet office probe has found. Now Ms. Gray, who led the inquiry into lockdown gatherings in number 10, was cleared to work for Labour by Parliament's advisory appointment body last week. It said she could start as Keir Starmer's chief of staff in September. Labour has said that all rules were complied with. Now the party said Ms. Gray only had one phone call with Sir Keir before she resigned in March, and the conversation did not relate to any government business. Now some Tories had expressed anger that she was offered a job as the Labour leader's chief of staff, arguing it undermined the impartiality of an inquiry into lockdown breaking parties. The Cabinet Office Minister Jeremy Quinn said the Whitehall inquiry found the code was prima facie broken as a result of the undeclared contact between Ms. Gray and the leader of the opposition. He said Ms. Gray was given the opportunity to make representation but chose not to do so. So what? Is Ms. Gray going to be with them, or is she going to now stand down? Well. Lots more going to be coming your way from there. But for now, let's move on to some other stories making the rounds on the African continent. Okay. Well, in Senegal, Sonko has called for demonstration. Now, opposition leader Osman Sonko, who was sentenced 2 years in prison a month ago, has called on the Senegalese people to go out in droves over the next few days on the eve of an address to the nations by President Macky Sall, who is due to say whether he will stand for a third term in 2024 presidential election or not. Now, in a quote, he went on further to say, "We must come out to confront the regime of Macky Sall and say that it will not be up to him to choose the candidate who will face each other in the next presidential election," he declared on Sunday evening during an appearance on social networks. Now, Mr. Sonko's conviction in a vice case, which currently makes him ineligible, sparked the most serious unrest in Senegal for years. In early June, leaving 16 people dead, according to the authorities, 24 according to Amnesty International and 30 according to the opposition. Now, Mr. Sonko has repeatedly claimed that the government is plotting to keep him out of the February 2024 presidential election, but the government denies this. He has been blocked by the security forces at his home in Dakar, sequestered, according to him, since 28th of May. Now, Mrs. Starr was elected in 2012 and re-elected in 2019. He had the constitution revised in 2016. It stipulates that no one may serve more than 2 consecutive terms. His supporters are representing him as their candidate in 2024, arguing that the revision has reset the counters to 0. Now, what do you think about that? I don't know when we become so power drunk. Is it not because people have skeletons in their cupboards and therefore because of sheer scaredness, or because they are afraid of what might pop out if they continue in that way? Quest might end up having them, watching their letter linen in public or unveiling whatever they've got in there. Do you think that is why we want to cling to power when we know, virtually we are dripping down and our clothes cannot still give it? We still is that what is happening there? Well. Somebody say, what about Trump? Now he knows that if he doesn't fight on, there's a tendency that he will find himself in really asshole. So that's why he is doing all his best to do that. But what do you think about this call by Sonko, the opposition leader in Senegal? Is it a wise one? Are people going to be going there? Because they could lose their lives. Alright then, Starr Radio UK. Burundians ATMIS troops celebrate Independence Day in Somalia. The Burundian troops with African Union Transmission Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, celebrated their country's 61st Independence Day in Mogadishu and Johar on Saturday. The events in both cities were attended by high-ranking officials, including ATMIS and the United Nations representatives. The head of the African Union Transition Mission, Ambassador Mohamed El Amin Souref, highlighted Burundi's significant contribution to peace in Africa, particularly in Somalia and Central Africa. It is thanks to that Burundi has contributed immensely to the ideal universal peace through political solutions anchored on mediation and constant engagement in favor of peace and security. Now, Burundi has never hesitated to invest in peacekeeping operations, which to many people represents the unique hope for the finding of peace in Somalia and Central Africa. Kudos to them. Keep on throwing their troops in there to go and fight for that quest. But what do you think about all that? So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, let me bring you what has happened in Mali. Now, Mali's junta has carried out a partial reshuffle of the government on Saturday, a day after announcing the end of the UN peace mission in the country and 8 days after a referendum in favor of the draft new constitution. Those strategic posts remained occupied by the same people. Government was significantly reshuffled with 16 appointments and 13 ministers, 3 swaps. A representative of the coordination, the Movement de Al-Azawad, the main alliance of former rebels in the north, is also leaving the government at a time of high tensions between the two parties. A new member of the military joins the government, Colonel Assa Badialo Touare, at the Ministry of Health and Social Development. The Malians approved the draft of the new constitution with 97% of votes in favor. Plebiscite for the ruling military, although voting was hampered in many central and northern localities either by fear of jihadist attacks or by political disagreement. The critics of the draft describe it as tailor-made to keep the junta in power beyond the presidential election scheduled for February 2024, despite initial comments. So on the African continent, there are supposed to be 2 elections in February 2024, one in Senegal and one in Mali. How will they cope with that? Well. The constitutional reforms prior to its promulgation and is fueling persistent speculation about a possible presidential candidacy for Colonel Assimi Goita. We all live to see, but somebody is saying that the template that is being used seems to be the same one that people, other military leaders, ex-military leaders have used to actually metamorphose themselves into civilian leaders, saying that, you know what, we are civilians now because we took off our military apparel. But what do you think about all that? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time to just a minute to 12. We take a commercial break, we come back, and okay, let me bring you some music so that I can have a sip of some water, as my boys will be saying, and then we continue. I'll open the lines and then we'll continue with that. Stay tuned, don't you go away.
Shed no tears, no woman, no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit in the government yard and trenched out, about observing the hypocrites mingle with the good people with me. Good friends we have and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
I remember when we used to sit in the government yard and trenched out, and then Georgie would make the fire light as it was. Love would burning through the night. Then we would cook cornmeal porridge, of which I'll share with you. And my feet is my only carriage, and I've got to push on through. When I'm gone, everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. No woman, no cry. Cry, cry. No woman, no cry. Oh, yeah. No woman, no cry.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show. Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I had a very nice sip of some wonderful water this morning that's been provided me by my able producer. But wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. 4 minutes past 12 the time. So we've got about 26 minutes to go through all the other stories making the rounds before I land you in Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is this morning or this afternoon. Let me put it that way because it's already afternoon in Cyprus. All right then. Now, so if you want to join in the conversation, just call me on 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. You happen to be in US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it is 0017183032737 0017183032737. To text or WhatsApp us is 0753966144 0753966144. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then. So now let's move on to some of the other stories making the round. Before we leave, we go to Ghana. Now there is uncertainty reigning on Sunday over the health of South Africa's Zulu's king. The head of the country's most influential traditional monarchy, with his spokesman denying reports he had been hospitalized. Mr. Zulu 48 ascended the throne last year after the death of his father, Goodwill Zwelithini, amid a bitter feud over the royal succession. Now, overnight on Saturday, the influential Zulu Prime Minister, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, said in the press release that the monarch had been hospitalized in the neighboring country of Eswatini after falling ill. The king believed he was being poisoned after the sudden and unexpected death of one of his close advisors on Saturday, he said. Now, although the title of the King of Zulu Nation does not bestow executive power, the monarchs wield great moral influence over more than 11 million Zulus, who make up nearly a fifth of South Africa's population of 60 million people. Now, King Zwelithini, who died after more than 50 years in charge, left 6 wives and at least 28 children. Mr. Zulu is the first son of Zwelithini's third wife, who he designated as regent in his will. The queen, however, died suddenly a month after Zwelithini's, and then leaving a will naming Misu Zulu as the next king. A development that did not go down well with other family members, and that brought about lots of troubles there. But has he been poisoned? Is that what is true? Is that what is going on? Let me say good morning to Kwejo Bafor. It's a God bless every black nation. God bless you, Kwejo Bafor, as well. Okay. Alright then, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds in Ghana. As I did say earlier on, what's going on there? Let me say good morning to Dr. Martin. Yes, thanks for the information that we're sharing yesterday. Okay, so when it comes to some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana, the communications officer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Sami Jamfi, has made a scathing allegation against the ruling New Patriotic Party. The NDC spokesperson says the ruling party attempted to bribe the Asen North MP elect, now James Jache Kwesi, not to contest the by-election. How true is that? What evidence has he got? Will somebody, take him on? And let's see whether he'll be able to defend that if he's got the evidence. Now, according to him, they threatened to jail him after they failed to get him to stand down. In a Facebook post on Monday, that's this morning, the outspoken politician commended Mr. Kwesi for his unwavering commitment to his constituents and the NDC as a whole. Now, folks, in a quote he said, not much has been said about the relentlessness of the MP elect for Asen North, without which victory may have eluded us. They tried to bribe him to back off. When they failed, they threatened him with jail. But in all these things, he was unwavering in his commitment and love for his people. Always calm, but confident, humble, but courageous, sober, but inspiring, meek, but fearless, his Facebook post said. Well, that is a description of the MP elect. Now, Mr. Jamfi does urge all Ghanaians to emulate such characteristics in their daily lives. His personal conviction and determination to fight for justice against all odds, even at the risk of losing his civil liberties, is the reason why we are smiling today. Now, join me celebrate the first gentleman of the good people of Asen North, the old soldier, Honorable James Jache Kwesi. Now, interestingly, there are some calls by chiefs and some individual learned men. If I say learned men, you know what I'm talking about there. And then some people, outspoken people, priests, also calling for the government to actually, shall I say disembark? No. Discontinue with the prosecution that seemed to be going on that they think, you know what, that's what we're going to be doing. I will see. But this is what the people say, this is the one that we want. Now, what about you? What can you say about that? All right then. So it says that the Domahini and the president of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Osajifo Sadeyo Ajiman Bedu II, has appealed to President Akufo-Addo to intervene in the prosecution of the MP elect for Asen North, James Jachi Kwesi. Mr. Kwesi is facing criminal charges brought against him after he lost his seat as member of parliament for Asen North. He's accused of allegedly failing to renounce his dual citizenship status before filing his to contest in the 2020 parliamentary election. The outspoken chief, who's also a sitting high court judge known in judicial practice as His Lordship Justice Daniel Mensah, made the appeal while speaking on the 10th anniversary lecture of John Evans Atta Mills in Sunyani. The Supreme Court ruled that the 2020 parliamentary election in Asen North that saw Jachi Kwesi being elected as MP must be annulled. If I were on the bench of the Supreme Court, I would have disagreed with a panel of judges. I appeal to the Attorney General. The Constitution gives him the power to discontinue cases that Ghanaians are not in support of. Now, when the by-election was held in Asen North last week, James Jachi Kwesi, who was re-elected, okay? He won by an overwhelming majority. He secured 57.96% of the vote cast, and that is no mean an achievement in election. As a matter of urgency, I am appealing to the Attorney General, President of the Republic, if he has any role to play, that trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi to end that particular decision. He added, I'm saying so because if we continue with this case, we'll be insulting Ghanaians, especially people of Asen North. I don't see the benefit that accrues to the country by continuing with the prosecution. Now that Jachi Kwesi has been re-elected, if he's held before the court, how can he effectively discharge his duty as a member of parliament? If he is not allowed to help in formulating good laws to ensure development of the country, how can he be blamed? It is on this plane that I appeal to the president. Mr. President, you know I love you, but this matter cannot go on. Attorney General, you are a son of Bono soil. Please go through your laws and have a second look at this case. Will they? Won't they? What is going to happen there is the question on the lips and the minds of most Ghanaians today. But I will be telling you more about that. But on the same case, we've got Professor Kweku Asare, US-based lawyer and academic, who was the first to call on government through the Attorney General to drop the criminal charges against Asen North Member of Parliament James Jachi Kwesi. His view was premised on the back of the June 27 by-election victory by the MP, whose ouster from the lawmaking chamber via a Supreme Court ruling triggered the by-election. Now, Kweku Asare, as he is popularly known, said the AG should file a nolle prosequi, which in law is an entry in this record of the court that a prosecutor will not proceed with a case. Now go please with AG to nolle prosequi the criminal charges against MP elect the year Azar's post of the June 29 race. Now days on, his view has been re-echoed by a paramount chief and a clergyman as well. The paramount chief of Doma traditional area, which I did read earlier on, has also commented about that as well, and a priest also has commented about that. But what do you think about all that? Would they hack into it, or would they call it one of those things and think, well, to hell with you, this is our quest and this is what we want to go on, this is what we want to achieve? Do you think that is good enough? So come your way from Starr Radio UK. A quick one, one quick story from Ghana as well, and then we move on to other parts of the world. Well, in France, though it's calmed down, but what is happening has not stopped yet. Now, a final one from Ghana. The New Patriotic Party will today, July 3, start vetting, that's the vetting committee, some of the aspirants. The committee will begin its work with the former Minister of Trade, Alan Kwejo Chairman Ting, Vice President Dr. Mahmoudou Bawumia, and Kwejo Poku. Now, former Energy Minister Boachia Chairman Ting Ejaku, former General Secretary Kwabena Jaya Japan, and MP for Asin Central Kennedy Ohine Japan will also face the vetting committee tomorrow, the 4th. Now, who do you think will be the best of all these? Some are calling for the Vice President to do it, and some are calling for the former Trade Minister Alan Chairman, because he's saying that it is my turn. As Tinubu said in Nigeria, it is my turn. And then he managed to get there. So maybe it is his turn. Or is it a turn of Bawumia? Who the MPP see one who is not an Akan being the presidential candidate? And would they not, some way, somehow, to support him? That is a question on the lips of most people. But you want to know more, let's start ready, okay? We are pressed with time, so we need to crack on. Let's move on to other parts of the world, and let me tell you what is happening there. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Israel has launched a large-scale military operation against Palestinian militants in the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. It started with multiple drone strikes, and Israel has sent in ground forces, leading to gun battles on the street. Palestinian officials say 8 Palestinians have been killed and more than 50 others wounded. The Israeli Defense Forces said they were striking terrorists infrastructure in the Jenin area. Now, Israel's foreign minister says they are not planning to widen the operation to the whole West Bank. Now, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shateh said Israel was attempting to destroy the camp and displace its people. Now, what do you think about all that? As that unrest goes on, what is happening in France? What is happening in France as well? Riots in France have appeared to be calming after 5 days of violent protests in response to the shooting of a teenager Nahel M during a police traffic stop. Now, more than 150 people were arrested on Sunday night, compared with more than 700 the night before. Over the last few days, there have been numerous calls for the violence to stop, including from Nahel's family. Now, mayors have called for people to rally outside town halls on Monday to protest the violence and looting. In Nanterre, Nahel's hometown, Mayor Patrick Jarry said he was pleased that the violence had subsided, but added that we shouldn't lose sight of the incident that sparked this situation and the continuing need for justice. The mayor of Reims told a crowd of several hundred people that the rioters had looted the businesses that they visit every day and urged the state to be firm so that the republic can be preserved. In a press release shared on Sunday, an association of the country's mayors noted that communes everywhere in France are the scene of serious unrest which targets Republican symbols and extreme violence. Now, refuse to let our country succumb to chaos. Unfortunately, this situation does not come as a surprise, and for years, France mayors have been sounding alarm bells over the degradation in our society, the press release reads. It also makes a reference to the attack on a suburban Paris mayor's home this weekend, in which rioters fired rockets at the official fleeing wife and children. The incident is being treated as attempted murder. Rioters have damaged and attempted to set fire to several town halls across France since the start of the unrest. However, Sunday night saw a marked decrease in the number of incidents recorded compared with the last week. Last night, 297 cars were set on fire compared with Thursday 1,900, while 34 buildings were damaged or set ablaze compared with more than 500 on Thursday. On Tuesday, French President Emmanuel Macron will meet the mayors of 220 municipal areas that have been affected by the violence. It's a sad occurrence there. It's wrong for you to take someone's life that way. And again, the reaction doesn't match up, is it? But well, something that we have to make the most of it so that people will know that we really upset and wouldn't want anything of the sort to happen. But well, it has happened. So what do we see? Let's see what President Macron can bring up in the next few days. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Biden's $130 billion student loan plan axed by top court. And 2 dead and 28 injured in Baltimore shooting. I'm going to be bringing that your way in a moment. Okay. So, 2 people have been killed and another 28 injured in a shooting in the U.S. city of Baltimore, Maryland, police have said. A spokesman said that 3 people remained in a critical condition. The incident happened in the early hours of Sunday morning in the Brooklyn Homes area, where people had gathered for an event called Brooklyn Day. There are no details about suspects. More than a dozen of the victims are or were aged between 18. The city acting commissioner reported. Officials have said that more than one assailant opened fire at the celebration. The motive behind the shooting is still unclear, and police have appealed for people to come forward with any information about the incident. This was a reckless, cowardly act that happened here, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott told a news conference. This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds here in the UK, because we have a couple of them, and then we can get ourselves ready for HRH Linda Pallien to join in. Now, those of you who love cricket, the Lord Bosses have suspended 3 members over clashes with Australian players. Now, footages appear to show clashes between spectators and Australian Osman Khawaja and David Warner. That's one of the stories or the pictures that we've seen over the weekend. Now, new overtime ban to cause further trains disruption as slave drivers will refuse to work overtime for another 6 days, in addition to the current industrial action. Well, those of us who like buying fuel at the supermarket forecourts, well, weak competition had added 6p to supermarket fuel prices. So now we have to look elsewhere, right? Yes. Now, drivers paid an extra 6p per litre for fuel at supermarket last year as weak competition allows stores to push up profit margins, a watchdog said. The Competition and Market Authority said supermarkets were usually the cheapest for fuel, but the market was not working as well as it should be. The regulator recommended a fuel finder scheme to help drivers find better live prices online. The CMA boss Sarah Cadell said something needs to change swiftly. Now, drivers buying fuel at supermarkets in 2022 have paid around 6p pence. That's 6p per litre, more than they would have done otherwise. Now, due to the 4 major supermarkets increasing their margins, she said. Now, this will have had a greater impact on vulnerable people, particularly those in the areas with less choice of fuel stations. Now, petrol and diesel prices spiked to record highs in the immediate aftermath of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, but have dropped significantly since then. The CMA has been investigating the UK's fuel market, and amid the falling wholesale prices are not being passed on to consumers. According to the watchdog, average annual supermarket margins on fuel had increased by 6p per litre between 2019 and 2022. So do you mean that the fuel that we bought a week ago was at a good price, or 2 weeks ago was at a good price? Let's keep our eyes on and let's see what is happening on that one. One other story, and then we'll bring the first part of the program to a close. And then a sad one, victims have been named as Nemat Lawa Esmail 51 and his son Mohammed Esmail died in a fire incident at their home. The dad died in hospital and the son died, I think, at home when they were engulfed. Their residence was engulfed in fire. One other story, and we'll bring the program. The hottest June kills UK fish and threatens insects. Some of the stories making the rounds there. Some will say, well, if the fish died, those who don't like fish, those vegetarians, they will like the fish, right? Okay. The vegans, they call themselves. A festival boss has formally threatened legal action against the government over drug checking at festivals. Now, Parklife founder Sacha Lord has written to Home Secretary Zuela Breverman urging her to allow on-site testing in the popular app labs to go ahead. Now, he says festival have been doing this for at least 10 years until last month when the government told him a license will be needed for the first time. The government says a license has always been required to test drugs. Now, drug checking is where illegal substances are tested and notification put out if any are found to be dangerous. And I suppose I say this warning saves lives and also gives medical teams a better idea of how to treat anyone who becomes seriously ill after taking drugs. Now, UK festivals have most recently employed back-of-house testing, which uses samples of confiscated or surrendered drugs. Now, larger festivals like Glastonbury, Reading, and Leeds have said they've used private companies to do this. Independent festivals have tended to use charity. The Loop, whose volunteers have been able to test at events without a license due to agreements with the local police and council. So what do you think will happen there? This is all Starr Radio UK. Someone say it is all in the interest of our people to make sure that everybody gets a big of the good from there so that they don't lose their lives. But what do you think? Well, there was one other story that I really wanted to bring up, and then interesting. Okay, I leave that out. I don't know how that will benefit you. But it's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be crossing over to Cyprus where our own HRH Linda Pallien is. But whilst we do so, enjoy this song and then I will be with you. Something Inside So Strong by Make Paris. So whatever you're going through, whatever the challenges are, you rest assured there is something in you that is stronger than you even have a clue of. Enjoy it. I'll bring you to Cyprus in a moment.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. You take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. the more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place in time. You squander wealth. That's my light will shine so brightly. It will blind you. 'Cause there is something inside so strong.
Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing you Linda Pallien now. And good afternoon to you, Linda. And what are we looking at today?
Today we're looking at job satisfaction.
Okay.
Job satisfaction.
Okay, job satisfaction. Yeah.
Fantastic. So new statistics, and this is based on new statistics that show that, and then this is good news for everybody, increasingly, job satisfaction surveys have always said maybe 70% of people are actively disengaged at work, or a large number of people are just, I read 30% of people are doing their work just because they have to, but they wouldn't do it if they didn't have to. So there's a lot of unhappiness that comes with doing the job. But recently, a 2019 survey shows that 51% of people absolutely love what they do. Which is
51%?
51%, which is huge progress. Good.
What was the what do you call them? Those who were questioned, where were they?
This is an American survey by the Harvard Institute.
Okay, so the recent sample was in the US, not in the UK or other parts.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Some UK statistics, but they weren't too dissimilar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they weren't too dissimilar. So I think employers are now getting the message of how important staff are and why it's important to keep them and retain them rather than having this job hopping culture that we've seen since the start of the decade. So this is really exciting for people.
Yeah.
But today I want to focus on how the individuals, you as the employee, increase your own job satisfaction.
Okay. Okay.
So a lot of people, and how to even recognize that you're in this space or questioning your job satisfaction levels is when you're thinking there's a dis-ease and a discomfort between how you feel inside authentically and the sort of mask that you put on at work.
Okay.
You know, and the fact that there's just something not quite right and you're not enjoying your job as much. Maybe it's not challenging, maybe it's not fulfilling you, maybe you're not you're not doing more of what you love, it's become mundane and routine, or you're feeling undermined at work. These are sort of symptoms, if you like, of job dissatisfaction.
Okay. Well, listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, with HRH Linda Pallien bringing you Career 101. And today we're looking at job satisfaction. Now he's put in few things or pointers to what job dissatisfaction. So let's continue. Yes, Linda.
Right. So this is all about empowering you, so that you can take control of your career and really make a logical decision rather than based on emotion of what you can do to increase your job satisfaction. So the first thing is to become self-aware. To become self-aware, you need to understand where you're at in life in general, okay? And this is hard for a lot of people to wear because they say, well, what do you mean by self-awareness? I know what's going on with me. If I don't know, who knows? But you need to understand what your abilities are, because what we want to avoid is the illusion that you think that you're better than the market and you have an inflated perception of what your real market value is.
Oh, okay.
Understanding your abilities, also what your preferences are, what you love to do, what you don't like to do so much, therefore you're not great at it and you're just slower at it, which means you're costing your employer more time and more resources. So being self-aware in terms of understanding your values, your preferences, your abilities, your interests really helps to pinpoint where your job satisfaction or dissatisfaction is coming from. So that's the first thing, be self-aware.
Okay.
The second thing you can do to increase your job satisfaction is benchmarking. Now, benchmarking is comparing yourself with other similar organizations or other roles in similar organizations. What are they doing? What are their job descriptions and job requirements compared to how much they're being paid? Because then that's going to give you a true value of your worth, your perceived worth, okay? And we're not talking about anybody's self-esteem. This is purely from a practical standpoint. The third aspect will be to learn how to talk to management and key decision makers. Too many people are afraid to approach and have an open conversation about the subject. You know, you wait until it gets really bad and then you're frustrated and then you quit all of a sudden, and you don't even give your management time to rectify the situation before it gets out of hand and you're stressed and you are at the end of your tether. So learning how to talk and express how you're feeling, how to negotiate some of your tasks and maybe some of your remuneration in terms of salary, flexible working, whatever it is that is making you unhappy. Learn how to communicate that to people that can make a difference. And that doesn't include your co-workers that you're just moaning to.
Okay, this will be talking to the bosses, not your colleagues. Okay, interesting.
They can't do anything about it. And misery loves company, and we don't want that. Of
course. Pity party. People will come. Yes. Do we have a fourth one?
Yes, we have the fourth one, which is pretty much touching on what we've discussed. The fourth one, identify what's deterring you from satisfaction. Try and place your finger on what it is. Is it your boss? Is it the lack of career prospects? Is it the way you're receiving feedback? Is it the tasks you're working on, the hours you're working on? Really take an objective look, take a step back and take an objective look at where exactly that dissatisfaction is coming from. Because it's so easy when it's all in your head and it's a feeling to just be unhappy and not be able to rationally work through where the source of unhappiness is coming from. So when you take a look and maybe you take some notes and you almost go private investigator on yourself on where your unhappiness is coming from, you can then pinpoint, actually, is this something that the company can change, or is this something that I need to change? Do I need to work in a different team, in a different environment? Do I need a plan to my office, for example, that would make me feel more creative? Do I need more post-it notes rather than a board that tells me about my targets? All of these things, little things, could really influence how satisfied you are in your job.
Okay.
And then finally, this brings us to our final point, which is develop a relationship with a career counselor or an objective person, a mentor maybe, who can give you feedback on your career expectations and what's happening with you right now. Because it's all well and good maybe comparing it, but you maybe not have considered the company culture or the drivers, or maybe some of the other sacrifices that the people you're comparing yourself with have had to make or are having to make. Maybe they call 24/7 and you can't afford to do that. Therefore, they're probably being paid more than you.
Yeah.
Finding someone, a career counselor or a mentor, that will give you this objective feedback will really help to be able to figure out how you can take that initiative and increase your job satisfaction before you even think of jumping ship or quit, negotiating, etc.
Wow. Okay. Now, there is a question that I want to put across. I've met a couple of people who today they tell, oh, I've got this new job and I'm so happy in it, and the next 3 months you see them wake up and go, I don't feel like going back to the work, and then the next time they change to another one. So they keep on, they are never satisfied. But meanwhile, when they were going in from the first point, they were like very over the top. They were so happy that they got their dream jobs. It could be anything. There are some who are even musicians. They think this is what I want to do for life, and they do it, and 3 months they said, I'm tired. So people like that, I mean, how do you satisfy them?
I think you just described every relationship ever. It's always so exciting at the beginning. I mean, and this is a valid point, and this became almost a trend, and especially amongst millennials. Normally, the baby boomers were, okay, well, we have a mortgage to pay, we have this realistic approach to life, so that we had people saving careers more. Yeah. Whereas now in the on-demand sort of world that we live in, where you've got so many channels that you can flick through, or if you don't like where you are, you can move it because you're a tree, and you're not any place, you're not a tree, and you can just jet set to move, take your things and go. It's the trend that we're seeing across not just in careers, but to mitigate this, what we need is a realistic approach on the career that you've chosen, where you see yourself going within that career. And this is why it's important to really consider and carefully choose the career you're going into. You know, it's not just about what's paying the most, what's trendy, I've got a job, or oh my god, they took me just because I blacked my way through an interview. Yeah. What you need to consider is, where am I going with this? How does this fit into my values and my purpose and my beliefs? Do I believe in the company culture? Can I see myself growing in this place? And career progression is one of the main reasons why people are dissatisfied at the. So by all means, if you've been in it 3 months and you realize there's no progress, then you can jump ship. But there needs to be a realistic approach of how long this is going to take. Of course, a lot of people will disregard how long it takes to achieve mastery in your field. I mean, I know a lot of graduates that start the job, and by 2 years they want to be running the company. It doesn't work like that, you know. So once you have that realistic approach, it makes it easier to pace yourself, and of course it helps to have a goal that you're working towards as well. A lot of people, I mean, most of the population now don't even plan. There's no goal setting, no goal planning, so we're just living the day to day. We've got our head down doing it, and then we realize, oh, you know, what is this all for? What am I working towards? And then the unhappiness comes in. Whereas if you thought, okay, well, I want my name to be synonymous with careers in the next 10 years, where anybody thinks about careers, to think about my cheerleader. For example, I know that what I'm doing today is working towards that bigger goal. Yeah. It's harder for me to be like, oh, well, I'm going to stop and do property now, or I'm going to stop being a forex trader, because that's not helping me reach that big goal that I've set for myself. So having that long-term plan really helps to stay and keep up the momentum and want to know more and learn more and get there faster.
Yeah. Archie, Frank, it's interesting. I'm going to ask a question, but let me add to what she just said about goal setting and other things. When it comes to satisfaction as well, it's about what we as individuals put in our brains, how we program ourselves. I've always said this. There are things you have to consider before you step into any job. Where did they go? Am I going for money? Am I going for career development? Am I going to learn? You need to be able to define exactly what you want. I had a friend, let me use this example. I had a friend of mine who came to school over here as a lawyer. He was a law student, but came to do his master's on another course over here. Now, when we sat down, I was Frank, I want to go back. Something's telling me to stay. I said, look, there are two things you're gonna do. So, and he was looking for a job. I said, look, but then he was doing this car park ticketing. This ticketing. And I said, okay, you know what? There are certain things you need to define. Do you want to go back or you want to stay here? If you want to stay here, there are certain jobs that will not give you money the way you want. But those are the jobs you should go for. Because it builds you up for the future. But if you all go, it's to just make money and go. Forget about career building and go for security. These things that you can work for long hours, gather your money. And actually, he sat there and said, look, Frank, actually I need to go back. Within 2 years, he completed his house.
Wow.
Yes, because once you work for 37 hours, he was working about 90 hours. He decided to choose a job that will not stress him out. He took security and car parking this thing. He go to ticket, he go back to sleep at security post. He say he's worked. but you see, so you need to define exactly what you want.
For you to get that job satisfaction.
If you have gone to, let's say, bank to go and work, you'll be frustrated because the bank is not going to allow him to overwork that way, gather the money he wants to, and then run home. It's not going to happen. It's not going to. So people need to what do you want to do in the next 5 years? That should inform. If it is money that you want for now, go for money making job for the next 2 years. Whilst you getting yourself ready.
It's some chips.
Not even chips. Actually, it means that you know that you are not going for satisfaction. Your satisfaction comes from the money.
The money that you are making.
The source of satisfaction is very important. The source of that satisfaction that you're going for, like Lena is saying, is coming from money. So once you are being paid, whether you are your boss is nice, your boss is not nice, all
that matters is your money.
It's money. Everything is
show me the money,
and that's it. But Linda, let me ask a question. This morning we woke up to a very big news in the corporate world, that the CEO of McDonald's has been fired, and that was because he had a relationship, not rape, a relationship with a consensual relationship with someone who was working under him. If a lady finds that a part of their job satisfaction will be to have a relationship with their boss, would that be fine?
What?
She said what? Linda, I'm saying, let me repeat, that this one woke up to the news.
Yes.
That Steve Easterbrook, who is now the former CEO of McDonald's, has been fired because he violated company policy by going and having a relationship with a lady in the company.
A staff.
Now, he describes it as poor judgment. If probably my satisfaction as a lady or as a guy is to have a relationship with that beautiful lady at that way, would that be bad?
Well, okay, so this, just like you were saying, this CEO obviously went into it and decided his fate. You know, I'm sure he knew that it's against company policy,
right?
And of course, McDonald's have to stick by their policy to make an example of someone, so it doesn't keep happening. So he went into it knowing, hey, if anybody finds out, it's gonna blow in my face. But this is the choice I decide to make to carry on this for as long as we can get away with it. And I mean, for the job satisfaction for the lady, I mean, if you're going to have a relationship with someone who's higher than you and is going to provide you your satisfaction needs, and again, you understand the risks it takes to go in and relationship, then hey, good luck to you.
See, Linda, I'm asking this question because of the the 4 points that you listed, and we were talking about goals as well.
So, yeah.
Because if, for instance, you are out there, you are a company, and the satisfaction you get is to violate company's policies for your immediate satisfaction, know that there will be a day when the law or they will
catch up with you.
It could be a guy, probably someone go, look, Archie, I used to work somewhere in a company, Boots, when I came as a student in the first place, and I know people that will steal paracetamol and other things to sell to send to Africa.
Wow.
They actually are not there just because of the work they are doing, because it gives an opportunity to steal. Are you getting me? So if you are out there and you're doing something that you know within that company environment, it is illegal, but that is what drives your satisfaction. Know that that is not the kind of thing.
Job satisfaction that we are talking about.
That's not the job satisfaction that we do.
Self gratification.
From one day you will be caught, and whatever job satisfaction you think that you're getting from doing something that is against company policy will come down crashing. And that's exactly why I asked that question.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, because again, people, it's about long-term thinking. You know? This might just be a little pill that you're taking, a little packet. Of course, it's a company, they won't miss it, blah blah blah, and you convince yourself that it's a good thing that they're doing. But now maybe you have a criminal record. Now maybe that becomes a habit for you, and you can't even stop yourself from doing it. You know, and you're building this integrity that, I mean, if you start doing it as a small if you're fired as a shelf stacker, how are you then going to convince somebody that you're going to be able to run their business for them, or you're going to be an integral part when it comes to when you finish your school and later down the line? These things have long-term ramifications that people who are short-sighted don't think about. And another point is jobs, you can't derive your satisfaction from someone else. You can't outsource this, that, well, I'm going to go into this company, and when I have a relationship with the manager, then that will be my satisfaction. What if they're all not into you?
Tell me about it. They will do everything possible and then maybe cry rip, and then that will be it.
I'll pray before I came home. Okay.
Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11. The time we have HRH Linda Pallien. Today we've talked about job satisfaction. What do you think you would describe as job satisfaction? But she's giving pointers. You want to know more? One of the pointers that she put, the latter one, was having a career coach or an advisor to guide you. Because at times some of the goals that you are set are not realistic enough, but they will, or she will guide you to do all that. So before we go, we will go back to her for her to put all those contact details there so that you can get in touch with her. She is my cheerleader. She can be your cheerleader as well. Over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. If you're looking for anything to do with careers, whether you're looking to change jobs, you're looking to move into a more fulfilling role, I'm your cheerleader, as Archie has already said. You can contact me at my cheerleader on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or visit the website mycheerleader.com. My cheerleader is spelled MyCheerleader, my cheerleader, and I'll be happy to help you with whatever stage you are at in your career.
Okay, Linda, let me say thank you very much for another wonderful opportunity and time with you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, as always.
You're welcome. Okay, so that has been Linda Pallien, bringing you Career 101. And today we had a look at job satisfaction. So if you have any questions, as we did say, just get in touch with her and she will see to address that for you. And again, her books, they are there. The career books series, the Ultimate Career Work book for success and how to career and then career success. So make sure you get your hands on it, and it will help you a great deal. It doesn't matter where you live on the planet, wherever you are, going to be available to you, and you can do that. All right then. So let me say thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon to listen to us on the Star Radio UK Morning Show. We will be leaving you and we'll be seeing you tomorrow, God willing. And as I did say, those of you who are still listen to us on our apps, the app is under some work at the moment, and once it's all up and running, we'll bring it to the fore. So we want to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure coming your way. I am Archie on behalf of Linda, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, and numerous people who listen to us today. I say have a top of the day, but let's go back to the song again. Something Inside So Strong by Mika Paris, a cover version of it, and enjoy and see you all tomorrow. Bye bye for now.
Taller I become, the further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away.
Thanks for listening.
There's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place in time. You squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly, it will blind you. 'Cause there is something inside so strong.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Oh no.